Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. What's going on, y'all? Hope you're doing well. I literally just recorded a message with my famous African American history cards. I'll probably post that before this. But I'm here and my son is asleep, so I'm like, I might as well just go in for another, because with how my days go, who knows when I'll be back on this table. So, because I love you all so much and I love this just the same, here I am again. So I don't know if it's going to be one and two messages in one day or whenever you see this, but just know that I'm actually recording it on the same day, which is February 25th, 2025. Oh, 25, as I recorded the Black History card message. But I haven't touched tarot in a while, so I kind of like tarot, it hits different for me. It just does, especially these black and white cards. So let's do it. All right. Ooh, King of Swords. King of Swords, first off the top. Okay. Ooh, did I just see the? Oh, I ain't mean to see that, but I did. King of Wands. Do we have a face-off? Let's see. Oh, okay. King of Swords. Oh, we might have a bit of a face-off here between two masculine forces, or two very aggressive, dominant forces. Maybe a bit of competition. I don't know. But somebody ain't playing fair with the Seven of Swords, and they're trying to get away with it. And my guess is, it could be this King of Swords energy, because the energy stacked up on this side. But there's something that they're literally trying to get away with the Six of Swords and the Seven of Swords. And in this case, it's somebody that feels like they outsmarted, like they beat the odds, or they outsmarted the competition, or they got one over. Like the Seven of Swords definitely means to be deceptive. I heard corruptive. And then the Six of Swords is like literally crossing over to some other side, like moving to some other shore, or they may feel sure about their escape. And with the King of Swords, he always, more or less feels like he's the smartest guy in the room, and most of the time he is. But with the Seven of Swords energy, it's questionable, because you could be the smartest guy in the room, maybe even the wittiest, or what, even the most conniving, but the intention behind your energy makes all the difference. Here, like I said, Knight of Swords, and that's given that somebody doesn't have it as much figured out as they think they do. Like, this is somebody that feels like every part of their plan is covered. Like, they have every possible everything that could go wrong, they've thought about it all. Every objective in mind, they've covered all their bases. They have their exit strategies. They've picked their accomplice well, if there is such thing. And I did kind of see the Three of Pentacles under here. Yeah, so there's that. They've picked the right associates or accomplices. They've hashed it out from front to back. Ooh, did they pick the right accomplices? Because this is conflict here with the Five of Wands. See, that's what I'm saying. So this is probably the thing. So that's the gotcha, is that somebody they feel, oh, okay. They feel like they're the smartest person in the crew. So where it seems like this could be a squad. Oh, Lord, hold on. Let me put these down, because it's hurting my wrist to even hold this energy up to talk about it, because the energy is just heavy. And, yep, Hangman. Yeah, this is exactly. So this is somebody who I heard band of thieves. This is somebody, they're the mastermind behind some type of plan or collusion of sorts. And they think that maybe because they're the brains of the operation, or they have something invaluable, whatever they feel that's invaluable to this plot, they feel like it elevates them above the rest, or somehow grants them some type of immunity or something like that. Like, not immunity, maybe immunity, but invincibility, like untouchable, you know what I mean? But what they don't realize is that the crew, like, this is somebody, like, he's looking back at that 5 of Wands, like, he knows all their vices. He knows what makes everybody in the crew tick. He knows what to give them, what to offer them, what to deprive them of, what to take, you know what I mean? Like, somebody that psychologically, this is somebody that knows how to play, that knows how to mind fuck. And in terms of mind fucking, they are the absolute Don Juan. They know exactly what carrot to dangle in front of certain people's faces, like how to allure accomplices or associates. He also knows how to disperse or dispatch or something shady, you know, like somebody that feels like they have the key to everybody's vice, everybody's desire, and knows how to give everybody exactly what they need to keep them invested in whatever his ultimate interest is, right? Or interests are. But the gotcha is that these people are not so easily controlled, you know, or contained. And there seems to be some more secret behind the scenes collaboration on how to actually kind of like shortchange this person, make a sacrifice out of this person, even with the hangman, or leave them stuck, literally leave them stuck, or leave them hanging. So it could either be like a plot or collusion to kind of leave somebody stuck and hanging, or it could be that what this person feels he's invested in, or what he feels he's garnered a great investment from, meaning the buy-in, is really not all that solid. You know, it's temperamental, it's conditional with the 3 of Pentacles. Like, and my phone just lit up 9:22 on the clock for no reason. And they're ultimately maybe even just not reliable, you know, and they're ultimately more likely to leave somebody hanging on whatever. But the thing is, this person needs the crew, maybe perhaps more than the crew needs them, but they feel it's the other way around, or maybe they know it's not the other way around. They need this association to pull something off, or to elevate, or assert some type of assure some type of outcome, and actually get away with it. It's like, it's not a one-man job, so it feels. But it may be that there's like a dissatisfaction with the reward and the payoff of whatever's been promised, because these people are planning to stiff this person, either take the payment and run, or to just not show up for the job and leave somebody dead hanging in their tracks. Oh, and here's the Wheel of Fortune, because that would be karmic. That would be like just desserts for someone that thought they had it all figured out, thought they had something in the bag, but it's clearly shady with the Seven of Swords here, and the 5 of Swords. And not only is it shady in origin and intention, but then the side ops is shady, because it's given that somebody, they actually plan to kind of get one up on the crew, like get away with something over them. So it's just karmic. Like, one hand will wash the other, where it is that maybe those that are in it for whatever the payout or reward is aren't going to quite end up getting what they thought they were out to get, and may not even accomplish what it is that they were supposed to accomplish. And even if they did, this still wouldn't pay out the way it's promised to. That's the thing. And maybe there's some idea about, some consideration of that fact as to why people are kind of like half in, half out, or willing to half-ass the job because they don't really trust the promise of the payout. And where he thinks he got it in the bag, got everybody manipulated and kind of like under his thumb or under mind control like Debo, secretly people are just playing along. They're just playing the game, maybe to kind of see how far it can go and how much they can get, or to really just be entertained by, the sheer fact of leaving somebody in the dust and leaving somebody hanging. And like I said, that would just be what is destined and what is karmic justice in this case. All right, whoop. And look who pops up. But the devil. All right, I'm going to try to make this one real short because I really don't want to have another hour reading. I'm trying to keep them short and sweet as much as I can. So let's see what we can do. I already said a mouthful. The Page of Swords. What's the Page of Swords looking at? Somebody's watching something. Everybody might be watching everybody. Trying to see trying to see who's shady, who's not, you know what I mean? Like, or looking out for themselves, their own personal interest. It could be that whatever this association before, there's some bad blood or bad taste in people's mouths. That's why I was saying, like, there's this distrust or uncertainty about what's been promised versus what could actually be gained, because maybe some people have kind of been shafted before, so they're all looking out for their best interest, especially given that Five of Wands. Nobody trusts anybody, really. And they certainly don't trust the MFer that's making all these promises, because it's as slick and sly and clever as he may think that he is coming off. Like, King of Swords is like somebody that can really talk a good game. So he feels like he's doing some great convincing, for his cause, or has done some great convincing. Like I said, he knows what everybody wants, everybody likes, everybody's vice, everybody's temptation, like, especially with that Devil card. This is somebody that takes special interest in knowing what everybody would want so that he could at least express the promise of such enough to gain some type of buy-in or investment to like his plan or whatever. But it seems like they may have done that a few times too many and maybe not quite delivered on the promises enough. And this could be the big one where it's like they really need the gang, they really need the support and the crowd participation on this one to get it done. But because they more or less flubbed up in the past, people's trust is shady. Like, they haven't come through enough in the past to have gained full to have sustained, I should say, full credibility. All right. So it's like now every man for himself. And it sounds good, but this could be past energy. It could be present in terms of this illusion here. Like, nobody wants to be tricked again, or some people maybe have the rose-colored glasses, so to speak, even of people's own delusions of grandeur or of their own personal ambitions, maybe even like I keep saying vices, so maybe even um, their own, I hear psychological lusts. That's an interesting term. Okay. You know, like maybe their own desires, you know, are not, because the Page of Swords is looking away from that. So maybe, okay, so people are not as easily tempted and maybe even glamorized with the Seven of Cups as they usually are susceptible to being. You know, just like I said, dangle a little carrot, a little drinky drink, a little smoke, a little pill, a little money, a little, you know, whatever you like, I got it. You know, the devil got it all. And we saw the devil card. And knows what you like, so knows exactly what to offer. But it's something about people not being so easily influenced this time around as maybe they have been before, to just do anything. You know, maybe something strange to change, perhaps, or at least the promise of change. And that could be the issue, is that what was promised before wasn't absolutely delivered. You know, Three of Pentacles is saying that maybe perhaps in the past there was a promise for some big payday, and in the end, Three Pentacles between three people ain't a fortune. It's not a windfall. You know, it ain't no come up. So it's like you might have literally got paid like a wage, you know, like what you could have been paid working much, you know, a much easier shift in retail. Imagine that, you know, for all your efforts and energy, and this is all you get. You know, it's like people are reevaluating, like, what's it really worth anymore? That was almost a Tower card, but it flipped back. Let's see. Yeah, like, what is it really worth? They're protecting their own interests. So that's the gotcha that somebody may even not be completely clear on, is that people might be saying, yeah, that sounds good. And it may have been good in the past enough to keep people invested, but people are guarded now. There's this guard that, you know, these maybe even healthy boundaries perhaps, but certainly a defensiveness, I would say, if nothing else, about what they invest themselves into, what they get involved with anymore, or at least right now. You know, like, it just doesn't have the same I don't know, like what's the word that I'm hearing? The same intrigue. Yeah, something about intrigue. Like something was intriguing enough. Maybe it was mysterious, or seemed so grand that it's almost like an offer you couldn't refuse. Like, I could get all of that for just doing this. This all I got to do. This all, you know, and I could get that. You know, the intrigue, which again is definitely given diabolical when we think about what lower frequency energies project, that you only got to give a little of your soul, just a little bit, and you could get all of this. And then what you get left with but the damn Three of Pentacles. Your soul gotta be worth more than that. Like I said, that's like regular work, 9 to 5, you know, retail, hospitality wages. I mean, of course, depending on the position, you know, no shade. Because, shoot, McDonald's, I think, what they up to, at least 15, maybe 20 for some positions an hour. So, depends on what you're doing, child. What's that? Now, that's the Queen of Wands, but it flipped back over. Yeah, and you know what it's giving us, like, back to that King of Wands that was up on the bottom. People are taking more charge and ownership of their creativity. Whatever that is, however they are invested or desire to be invested into. It's literally given with this Nine of Wands, somebody that can really make whatever it is they're trying to make happen on their own. Like, they need other energies. They need them. They need them. And the Eight of Wands is, what is that? The Eight of Wands. I'm drawing a blank here. Oh, to accelerate their agenda. Because the Eight of Wands is like acceleration, fast communication. It's high octane energy. It's like somebody doesn't have, look at them, they stressed out, they beat down. So it's like all they have is their mind and their words to kind of like persuade, you know, manipulate. I can't even say persuade, to manipulate buy-in. Because in the grand, and yeah, engagement, here we go, investment, engagement, contract, commitment, all they have is their words at this point. Now their facade might say something different, even with the King of Swords itself. It may be somebody presenting themselves to be very honest and direct, alongside of the whole, you know, I'm super smart and talented. Or they may be presenting themselves to have some access to information or a channel of enlightenment. Because sometimes with the sword cards, like the Queen and the King, I can see that as like telepathy, you know, like to have some type of gift of enlightenment or knowing in some, you know, advanced way, or just some heightened sense of some higher frequency of information that nobody else has or nobody has access to. And that's how they position themselves to somehow be invaluable, or, well, kind of invaluable, but you know, like precious to, like, I know this thing and I like, they have a key. You know what I mean? I just need you to do X, Y, and Z. This all you gotta do. This all you gotta do. This all you gotta do. I got the key though. So if it don't work without me, so says he, whomever this is, but really it don't work without they. And really, if it's in low vibration, it don't work at all. Because like I said, this is somebody that thinks they're more enlightened than they actually are. They don't really have the key to any damn thing. They just have a hope and a dream, you know, and perhaps some willing participants in the operation that might get them to some desirable outcome. But in reality, they definitely don't have it on their own to give or to resource. They have to resource outside energies, and that's the dilemma. Because it's like they may have burned bridges, or kind of like over outsourced at this point, you know, kind of like what would I say, like overindulged in their I don't know, something about that. Something about like kind of, I feel like saying like outworn their welcome, but not that in a physical sense, maybe amongst the crew or amongst some type of association, but it really feels like they've used and abused. There it is. That's why people are guarded, because they have used and abused resources, people, their time, their favors, access, information, a lot of things. This is somebody that literally has used and abused a lot of people in their force field, so much so that don't nobody really wanna F with them. They're automatically guarded at this point. And even though and you know what I'm hearing is like, I still feel like it's not, whatever scheme and plot that they have up their sleeve it wasn't going to work anyway. But the thing about it is that if they there's a greater likelihood of them being able to pull something off if they have absolute buy-in the way that they did once upon a time before they used and abused their connections. um but now it's like the boy who cried wolf type of thing. It's like, no, I really need y'all now. This is it. This is the big one. This is going to set us all up. Like the big heist, Ocean's 11, 12, whatever. This is going to put us in, a secure spot. If we could just do this one, I swear this is it. This is all we need. But because they've been so used and abused before, nobody, even if they are willing to show up, nobody's willing to really give their all or do their best work, or it's like still subconsciously a little bit of apprehension, partially because there's a distrust, but also somehow, I mean, subtly, people that have felt burned kind of want to see this person fall. They kind of want, like, literally to be a sacrifice, like the hangman, like to see them falter for the losses that they feel they may have taken at this point. So even the most, the most tempting offer at this time kind of pales in comparison to the bitter taste in their mouths from previous times in the past, multiple times in the past, and the risk don't really project to outweigh the rewards, especially when you can't really count on it, or you feel like it sounds good but there's going to be something to fall short. You know what I mean? Like, it's just almost absolute that something is not going to quite meet your expectation, or meet what was promised. So there's like a resistance. Yeah, look at this. With or somebody going to end up in jail. Literally, like literally get caught up in somebody's schemes and end up losing your own damn freedom. Like people are protecting their own interest at this point. And it could be because I said something that gave me, I forget what word it was, but it could like be a case or something. It could be somebody like trying to pay off witnesses. That could be the other thing with that 9 of Wands here, like trying to pay people off to stay on their side or support their case, or be a character witness, or something, or just not say anything. You know what I mean? But it's given that somebody doesn't really have it tangibly, because ain't no pentacles on this board, and ain't been none. Not even in the beginning spread, I don't think, except for the three of pentacles. So it could be somebody trying to pay off, it could be somebody trying to pay off people to influence their case or to not influence their case, one or the other. But it's like, I ain't trying to go to jail for you and your empty promises. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't making no deals with, nobody wants to make a deal with the devil right now. It's too risky. It's too risky and too unfulfilling. It's like, with all of the promises, the glitz and glams in the world to offer, it doesn't really, it's not so persuasive anymore. And that honestly could be a universal message. You know what I mean? Like, it feels kind of specific and like one singular story, but it could just generally be, I always like to open it up a little bit so it doesn't sound like I'm talking about or to or at anybody in particular. But it literally could be just people really weighing the their value, their personal value, and making strong decisions about what they engage with. for the sake of their freedom or maintaining it, to um for the purposes of liberating themselves from an Eight of Swords, no longer being bound and disempowered, feeling like they're, a slave to a circumstance or an association, a contract, literally here. Like, this could literally be somebody bound by some unfair contract that some people are just breaking their ways out of, or seeing their ways out of, whether it be, agreements they made with themselves in a dark space or a lower vibrational space, or outside of themselves, associations they've maintained for far too long, jobs, habits, ideals, whatever dark influences you can consider so-called great or small, they all can be confining if it's not your will to maintain it really and truly, and certainly if it's not something that is adding value to your life. So, like I said, that energy itself, as the King of Swords, could even be demonic forces that actually think that humanity will always be susceptible to being duped and tricked, and allured, what do you call it? Seduced for in exchange for their soul, literally, with the Two of Cups here. But the best of us are just not so easily influenced anymore. Even in maybe the mind games, speaking of all that sword energy, and even the Eight of Swords, the mind games, that the subconscious influences that we sometimes defer to, even when we don't mean to. Like, we're even breaking out of those conditionings to gain a higher traction and a higher resonance to our supreme expressions, because the things that maybe mattered before just don't hold the same value anymore. They don't even have the same sensation anymore. Not when it comes to being at peace and in alignment with your very own soul. Nothing's worth that anymore. The best of us know that, and the rest of us are definitely, I feel, becoming enlightened and in droves more than what would have ever been anticipated to be the case. And a lot of it is circumstantial, by the things that are happening in our world, particularly in our country even. But awakening nonetheless, no matter where you are. That's just universal order for this time. And the dark forces that have kind of had a hold, like a monopoly on the mind field for so long, are finding out that they just don't have it like they used to. It's a lot harder to captivate our attention, to hold our attention. Like, our attention spans are much shorter for nonsense, and even fear itself, than it was once upon a time. Limitation, disempowerment, guilt, shame, defenselessness, like all of those things, even lust, and greed, scarcity, survival. Like, we're not so fixated on those things as we were once upon a time. We're actually more defensive against those energies, so that when they come up in the psyche, we're being reconditioned to reconsider why. Like, why am I having that feeling? Why am I thinking those thoughts? And what can I do to transform or transmute that energy? Because it doesn't belong to me. Instead of just kind of accepting whatever comes with the territory. Yeah, like laying down and accepting it. And also, this is what I'm saying, like a surrendered rest, a peace of mind. Like, this card to me sometimes can be literally a double-edged sword, because sometimes it can be mental exhaustion from all the things that you do allow yourself to worry about, to overthink, to over process, things that you literally can't really do much about. You know what I mean? Or there's not much of a call to action for much of anything at this time, but to just submit and in some cases surrender to the flow of universal order as it is unfolding. Wherever the flow kind of takes you, it's hard to allow yourself to ride that wave without flailing and, flapping against it for fear of drowning in some way, shape, or form. But that's exactly when those dark forces step in and whisper sweet nothings in your ear to make you feel like you're defenseless and hopeless, and give you all the reasons why you should give up or should be afraid or should anticipate the worst. And it's like you lay down on your sword of truth and hang up that trauma on the wall like the trophy that you got over years ago. Maybe even decades, maybe even lifetimes ago. Not to revisit it or reaffirm it in this season. Not happening. Even where there might be uncertainty, there still is peace of mind for the best of us. Wow, and look at this. What's this under here? I just gotta say, wow, because this is the projection. To feel hopeless, destitute, out of alignment, diseased, sick, literally, to feel some impending doom or danger is looming overhead. Yes. Depression, kind of depression. I mean, certainly when you're in a physical or energetic state such as this, there certainly can be depression either at the forefront or the back end. But this is representation of the powers that were still trying to govern through that, trying to control through the frequency of fear. These are the ones that are the masters of it, that are just more or less like the lieutenants, the foot soldiers, the warlocks, the witches in place for that dark energy, and like such as the devil that we saw come up. Maybe not in the actual sense, but definitely that have an affinity for either living through their lower nature, or kind of confining others to theirs, for the purposes of affluence and power and control and advancement. That's this energy here. Literally is the corporation vibes here. This is what the Hierophant is. Big corporation, heads of companies, religion itself. Like, these are the energies that have projected the best and the worst of the devil, of demonic forces, and I say the best and the worst because there are some parts of that we've all indulged in some way, shape, or form at some time that, as I said, was quite sensational. And of course, there's a detriment to it all, which leaves you empty, or unfulfilled, unwhole, depleted, void of some pure satisfaction and contentment, the things that truly matter. This is the manufacturer of sorts of the fabrication of, or of synthetic satisfaction. There it is. through fabricated fear. And it's just not giving what it used to have gave. Nope. It's just not. The old tricks, the old schemes, the old spells, the old rituals, it's not doing what it used to do, and it won't. First of all, the energies that, and this is interesting, very interesting, because I could go deeper on this, but I won't. But the energies that were utilized, again, here it is, like this energy needs energies buy-in to actually expel the influence. If you don't buy into it, it doesn't really have the same effect. So although this is like an energy propped up to be righteous, holy, important, divine, head and shoulders above the rest, literally with the Hierophant here, ultimately what's needed is external energies for this power to persist. And if you don't have those external energies anymore, buying in and investing and submitting and surrendering and everything else, you know what I mean, laying down, falling to their own, falling to seduction and depleting their best energies on fleeting things, ideals or otherwise, then you don't have a source of power anymore. And that's what it comes down to. Side note, consider the Pope is, or has been, I don't know if he still is, on in critical condition, unwell. And we all know the idea of what was said to be to have been imposed in the realm by way of opening portals and gateways and for whatever and for God knows what and however. But ultimately, the backfire of moving in mystical misalignment is fatal, and it's severe, and it's something that those that know better and some that just literally know better, and those that just feel differently now, because that's just the state of the times that we're in, are not so easily willing to sacrifice themselves for the sake of others, so-called, let's say fabricated immortality. It's not happening anymore. It's definitely not happening at the rate that it used to. And like I keep saying, the best of us, because it's not, if it was just a matter of any old body buying in, then yeah, some people still may be in illusions and even delusions about themselves. But those that really matter, that have enough self-awareness and have identified their value enough to know what it's worth and what it's not, are the hot commodity as it stands at this time. And if you don't have that premium force fuel, you really don't have much at all. You really don't. So, and I really could go in on this, but I won't. You can take it how it resonates, how you hear it for you, whether it's personal, universal, general, cultural, psychological. Like, you can glean a little bit of everything if, he that have an ear, let him hear type of energy. So I'll let you do that. But ultimately, the moral of the story is that if you have set yourself apart and sanctified yourself in the energy that you've already been ordained in, like accepted that sanctification. And simply, it sounds very religious, but it ultimately just means like you've assumed and asserted your highest value, in spirit and in flesh. The tricks of the trade no longer have the effect on you that they once did when you were less aware. And the greatest challenge, and I even said this in the message before this, is just allowing yourself to assume that authority over yourself, because everything else in the world will project to you otherwise, that everything else matters but who you are and what you do, how you do it, and what you can stand to gain on account of all of those things. But that is the bottom line. Your personal identity and your confidence in that truth prevails over everything and everyone. So whether it's a small situation we talking about where you got one shady character that's trying to hustle a group, or hustle you, maybe even, make a victim out of you in some way, shape, or form, or the government itself, in its ways, and the factions of it, the factions of our society, the pillars of our society as we've known them. None of it is as powerful as it projects itself to be, especially if we say that it's not, or unless we say so. So just hold on to that truth in the midst of it all, and live by it. So I'm gonna leave that, and when you do, there really is nothing to stress about. Like, you can literally rest on that truth and hang up those traumas, that strife, those struggles, those fears, those worries and doubts, that just ends up being a trophy on your mantle at this point, or some commemorative artwork, of a time that has since passed. But what is presently true is the sovereignty of you as you assert it to be so. All right, the United States of you. Shoot, that might be the damn title. It might be something like that. But anyway, thank you for listening and watching. Until next time, as always, I'll leave you with peace.